We're good to go? All right. It's 7 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I loved hearing your little voices doing the Pledge of Allegiance. You guys know it the best. All right, first up on our agenda is our consent agenda. Do we have a motion? 2, 3. Here.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Awesome. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, great. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We're gonna need to pace.
Hans, can you unmute if you're gonna vote, please?
I was just gonna ask you that if he was gonna be able to vote. Hey, buddy. You're muted.
I am muted. That is an ugly picture on that screen. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that.
We're voting on the consent agenda.
Oh,
Are you
sure, I'll
in
vote
favor?
favor, thank you.
Awesome, thanks. All right, so you're unmuting him or you're muting him back? Oh, okay. All right, Hans. Well, we'll just leave you where you're at. All those in favor, 5-0. Oh, first was Harmony, second was Krista.
We're starting off strong.
I know. We're not great with Zoom calls at the same time. Okay. We're ready to move on. Up next, we are going to have Spotlight on super awkward section. Dr. Lyon is going to do Spotlight on the school board for this month. Please
Thank
make it
you.
brief.
Thank you, Madam President. It is a real honor to do this each year because I say it regularly, to be a school board member is a tremendous sacrifice and service to a community. And anyone who would voluntarily go into some of the things and the turmoil and the engagement with the community in the way that school board members do with kids at heart is really, really commendable. It is deep, deep service. So I could not get my team to buy into the song and dance routine that I had envisioned in my mind. So in lieu of that, we have each written about 30 seconds of words, expressions of gratitude to you, and I will lead it off. Of the many things I appreciate about you, our school board, is your roll up the sleeves and let's get to work attitude. You are engaged and active and provide a critically important connection to the Sherwood community. You use that connectivity to educate and inform, listen and gather feedback and guide us forward. We love the support and responsiveness, whether it is working together to help our community decide on the levy last spring or the total support for the efforts to recover from last week's storm. And that support is vital.
All right. I want to start by sharing my deep admiration for your dedication to your community, particularly the students and staff and families here in Sherwood School District. Your commitment is truly extraordinary, and it's a true display of service and care. Speaking on behalf of the teaching and learning team, I'm also excited to highlight a few things we appreciate about each one of you. Your desire to see all students grow. This commitment has materialized through various actions, such as ensuring an increase in student achievement and encouraging us to build programs like CTE, STEM, and pre-K. Your steadfast commitment to providing every student in Sherwood with a high-quality education is really invaluable. Your support in implementing a multi-tiered system of support ensures that no student in Sherwood is left behind and goes unnoticed. All students received the academic, behavioral, and mental health support that they need. Your collaborative partnerships have been crucial for us. Whether it's your involvement in reviewing and approving high-quality instructional materials, acting as liaison, posing thoughtful and really important questions, or visiting classrooms to witness materials and programs in action, your contributions are really significant. Finally, you have also prioritized understanding the workings of our departments by seeking out information, visiting sites, and getting to know all of our staff. Your collective efforts make this community and district really special, and the Teaching and Learning Department is very thankful.
Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Do not follow where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." This quote exemplifies you as a school board. There have been and will continue to be times when we see no clear path. You do an incredible job of asking questions to understand, keeping our students and staff at the forefront of your thinking, and partnering with us to forge a new trail, a new way of doing things. When I asked our HR team what they most appreciate about our school board, they shared their appreciation for the way you bravely serve as a conduit for communication, the many times you've advocated for the district on social media and through conversations, and the way you continue to serve as champions for our school district staff. Thank you for your commitment to doing what's right and for the endless hours you pour into this role. We appreciate the time and skills that each one of you bring to our district. You will be known forever by the tracks you leave. Thank you.
So I'll start with the quote too. Theodore Roosevelt once said about the nature of public service, "It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. Credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena." Although everyone who serves on the school boards has their own reasons for doing so, one thing they all share in common is the drive and the willingness to step into the arena and all that comes with it and not just stand on the sidelines. You have all done that, and I sincerely appreciate that about each of you. On a more personal note, I've greatly appreciated the support and trust the board has shown to the fiscal department during some really challenging financial times. It was really important to all of us, and I really appreciate that, and I appreciate each one of you in your service. Thank you.
As you know, the operations team usually works in the background, and frankly, many of the staff prefer that. However, you as a board and as individuals have shown tremendous interest in them, the work they do, and the impact they have on our students. Your support of the operations team, from the lunch staff to custodians to the tech team to bus drivers and the maintenance crew, is frankly unprecedented and so very much appreciated. Thank you.
I can talk to you. You're not just elected representatives, but you are also parents and community members. And as such, the perspectives that each of you bring into the work of our school district is highly relevant and necessary. From my lens as the communication specialist, hearing the varied perspectives of the Sherwood community, particularly from those with children attending our schools, plays a vital role in my ability to understand the needs related to our external communications. Your willingness to openly share with me the questions and feedback that you and other members of the community have about both what we communicate as well as how we communicate has provided many opportunities for improvement in that area of our work. And I'm grateful for that openness and to serving as a conduit of information in that way. As the board secretary, I also have a great appreciation for the patience, grace, flexibility, and most of all, the support that you consistently demonstrate for the logistics and the behind the scenes efforts that are involved with running functional, productive board meetings. Thank you for all of your time, energy, and attention to the work of our school district and for joining us in our commitment to serve the children and families of the Sherwood community.
Thank you, guys. That was so nice of you guys. It's an honor to serve in this position. And I know most of us, Matt, you're the exception maybe, but we come, well, Harmony, you work in a school too, so I guess just you and me. But we, and Hans, we come into this with like not a huge understanding of all things schools. And so it is a big learning curve to figure out what all your different jobs are, and what all their different jobs are, and who does what, and how to mingle what we understand from the community with what you guys are trying to do. It's a lot to learn and figure out all the time, and obviously we're still learning, but you guys have been so gracious with us and willing to communicate with us and share what you know and take us along for field trips, and I know I'm incredibly grateful for that, so thank you very much. It's awkward to be recognized for, you know, what we choose to do, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything they want to say?
I just think that was really nice
That's
of
very
all of
nice.
you guys to do that. It's, you know, it's really, it's, I'm gonna say our because I'm gonna stop me if I'm wrong, but it really is our pleasure. We are lucky to be able to sit here and to be a part of such a great organization, when that organization's sole focus is kids. Because kids are what we all have to rely on, their future. And so, thank you for sharing the nice words. It is a bit of, it can feel a little bit like a thankless job sometimes, can be very challenging. So when you hear nice feedback, that's very nice. So thank you.
I'll just echo, very sweet words from all of you. You know, this job is not easy at all times, but it makes it all that much more sweeter when you can have, collaborative and positive working relationships between admin and a school board. Doesn't mean we agree about everything, obviously, but, I've had, you know, a very great time. As challenging as it is, I'm just gonna stay with great. I do appreciate everyone's kind words. Thank you.
I feel under pressure to have to say.
You do have to
something.
do It'd be rude to not.
Yeah, no, I can echo all of that, but I have obviously not been on the board for very long, only a few short months, but it's been a pleasure getting to know all of you. And the community is served very well by this executive team, and you guys do an amazing job with the school, as we have an amazing school. And so I think all of our motivations at the end of the day, regardless of all of our individual reasons for doing what we do, it's because we love this district and we want to see this district be everything it can be. It's, you know, why we live here and why we put our kids here, and thank you for everything that you do, and yeah, the kind words, and I appreciate it.
Oh. Are you popping in here?
Yeah, I feel like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, so I won't stay on the screen, but I would like to echo my appreciation as well. Thank you for those kind words. And I am just so impressed with the cohesiveness of the team, the willingness to share information and educate myself as well as other board members, and the way I believe everyone is coming together for a common goal, which is the students in the school district here at Sherwood. So thanks again, and goodbye from the Wiz.
I think there's one person on Zoom's entertaining.
I also just want to call it, typically we would also include our ASB representative in our school board recognition month. She is busy with basketball tonight, which is such a good use of her time. But we just want to also honor Sabrina Flowers for her service on our board this year. And in a long standing Sherwood tradition, a book has been added to each of our school libraries on behalf of one of our members of the board or our ASB rep.
And thank you so much for doing that. We had a chance to look through them over there, and I love the book you selected for me. So I hope Hawksview enjoys it. It's a very nice thing that you guys do for us. All right, we will move on now to Spotlight on Ridges, which after the beginning of the week they've had, I'm so excited to celebrate you guys. Miranda Johnson's here with some cute kiddos. You guys have had a really busy week so far already. Thanks for being here with us, guys.
Well, thanks for having us. Good evening, Dr. Lyon, Board Chair Hawkins, and Board of Directors. I have with me five amazing Ridges students that are going to take some time to share with you a little bit about their favorite parts of our school. I'm going to kick us off with a general overview, and then we'll let each of them speak to those parts. For those of you who have not been to our school, this is a picture of Ridges on a beautiful day when we did not have to have a rainy day recess because the rainbow came out, much like today. So our campus was opened in 2009. For those of you who have not been a part of Ridges, it was originally two schools with a middle school on one side and an elementary school on the other side. In fall of 2020, we transitioned both of those sides together to make one combined Ridges Elementary School. We still pay homage to both the Edie Ridge and the Laurel Ridge names. That's kind of how we orient ourselves within this very large building. So on the left, you will see the Laurel Ridge side is where our current 3rd through 5th grade students learn and their classrooms are located. And on the right, we house our pre-K through 2nd grade classrooms and those amazing students. A few fun facts about Ridges that I'm going to update in just a few minutes because I wrote these before Tuesday and we've had a few changes this week. But prior to Tuesday, our current enrollment was actually 672 students coming back from our ICE winter break number 2. We have 27 classes pre-K through 5th grade. And the one thing that I love the very most about Ridges, we have over 18 languages spoken between our students and our families. I believe one of the highest in the district, even including the middle and the high school. And so that just creates an amazing, very special culture for our community. And I love all that that brings, and you're going to see some of that in some of our future slides. On Tuesday, for those of you who may not have heard, Middleton had some pipes break over the ICE winter break, whatever we're calling it. In our school, we're calling it winter break number 2. And so as a result, on Tuesday, Ridges welcomed another 132 students. And so we are very excited to have those friends with us. They've been 2 full days. They have transitioned into our building, all of Middleton's kinder and 1st grade students. And so it's been so fun to welcome them to our school community. We have just over 85 staff from custodians to food services. Our food services team on some days is making over 300 lunches for our 670 students. You'll see some pictures up there of various different staff groups. It takes a village to run a school as big as Ridges, and each one of those persons plays a really important part in everything that we do as a school community. And I think never has that been so evident than on Friday and Saturday when we were iced in and home for bad weather days. Our staff came together along with the Middleton staff, and in less than 48 hours, we cleaned out classrooms and set up 6 brand new spaces for our Middleton students. And it was all hands on deck, and just as a principal of Ridges, really fun to sit back and watch a community take care of another community. And I think that is at the heart of who our Ridges staff is, ready to help, welcoming, and to jump in and get things done. And so we have an incredible crew taking care of your children, and we're going to spend some time highlighting them during Staff Appreciation Week as well. All right, this is a list of some of the things we're going to share with you about. I met with our leadership team and a bunch of students, and we highlighted, they helped me pick the things that they felt were most special about Ridges, the programs that they are enjoying the most or the most excited. And so we're going to kind of bounce back and forth between students and myself to highlight some of these tonight. The first one is our Wolf Zone. For those of you who have not been to our elementary schools, each of our elementary schools has a social emotional space where we do lessons for students who maybe they just lost a parent, or they're struggling to make friends, or they're needing some support with acclimating to a new school. It could be any number of things. Those students get to join our Wolf Zone. That's a picture of that space up there, and they get to spend some time just playing and being in this space. And then they have some instruction with one of our amazing Wolf Zone teachers. And she does really targeted lessons about whatever it is that they may need to be working on so that they can practice those skills or build their confidence, usually meeting with students once or twice a week. And then the highlight for the rest of our students is on Wednesdays, we do Visitor Wednesday. And so any student can sign up to visit the Wolf Zone on Wednesdays. And so teachers do a really good job of trying to rotate all of our kiddos through so that everybody gets a chance to be in this space and enjoy it at least a couple times during the year. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Clayton, and he's going to share a little bit about our music and our choir program.
My name is Clayton, and I want to talk about music and choir at Ridges. At Ridges, we have a choir for any 4th and 5th grade student that would like to join. We practice after school on Tuesdays for an hour, and we perform several times a year. My favorite thing about choir is that we get to have solo parts in some of the songs we sing. We also have xylophone instrumental or percussion parts on the drums. So far this year, we have performed at an evening winter concert, and an all-school Ridges assembly. Later this year, we will perform in the spring concert, the district choir festival, and the 5th grade promotion. My favorite choir songs so far have been the garden song, Snow Day, and That Ugly Sweater. The cool thing about our music program is that kids learn some of the skills that they need to choose to join choir. Right now in our music classes, we are doing a singing unit. Where we were learning lots of different songs and different techniques that we can be used in choir. Other fun things that we do in music include learning to play the recorder, percussion things like drums, maracas, and xylophones, and dances that go with the songs. I really enjoy going to choir and music, and I am thankful that Ridges has these programs.
All right. Another very special program that Ridges has is a pre-K classroom for our youngest learners, ages 4 by September 1st. And this is a picture of our current pre-K space. The really unique thing about this program is it's housed within our building, right in our kindergarten wing. And so it gives a chance and an opportunity for all of those pre-K students to be in our community, to be a part of our school, to learn where the bathrooms are and how to navigate the hall and how to get to the library. And then we're really thoughtful when we place those pre-K kids into kindergarten to put friendship groups in each of the classes so that we can have some student leaders in all of our kindergarten classes that know how to get to the office and can find their way to the cafeteria and those kinds of things. And so it really helps them to kind of step up as they enter into kindergarten and to be a leader and to be a part of our school. Many of them have older siblings. And so that has been a big highlight for this group, especially this year, is that they have an opportunity to attend the same school that their bigger brothers and sisters do. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Luke, and he is going to share with you a little bit about STEM.
One of our special classes at Ridges is STEM. STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. In STEM, we do crafts, coding with Indie Colors and Osmo. We build mobile ones with film and cardboard tubes. We learn about circuits, and we learn about STEM leaders who have STEM jobs in real life. My favorite things in STEM are the science parts and STEM bins when we get free choice time to play with any building stuff we want. STEM inspires you to be an engineer, and I love it.
You'll also see a picture up there in the middle of one of our code nights. We were very thankful. Our very own Mr. Brady Strutz wrote a grant for us last year. And so we were able to invite families from all 4 of the elementary schools. Ridges hosted a big coding night. And so families were able to show up and check out a device and participate in coding. And so that is that picture there in the middle at the top. And then all the rest are some pictures of our students doing some of those projects that Luke spoke about. All right, another important highlight that came up when I was visiting with students is PE. Our PE teachers, we had 2, now we have 3 since Middleton has joined us this week, are really focused on creating an environment for students that isn't so much focused on the rules or the technique pieces of specific games or activities. While those are important skills that students are learning, the real hope for our PE teachers is that kids will have a love for activity and just being active and exercising throughout their life. And so they work really hard to create opportunities for our students to engage in activities that will get them moving and to be excited about moving even outside of PE class. One of those amazing activities that we do is called the Wolf Challenge. And our fifth graders haven't yet participated in the Wolf Challenge, so it's a little hard for them to speak to that tonight. But they are going to, in March, get to participate. The fun part about this is we mix all of our fifth grade classes together. So we currently have 5 fifth grade classes at Ridges. We will create 5 Wolf Challenge teams, but they will be mixed with kids from every single class. So it's not just their homeroom kiddos. They're going to get to engage and participate with fifth graders from other classrooms as well. There are 10 challenges, and all of the challenges are non-traditional games. So you'll see some of those. They do some knee boarding. There's a rope challenge there. They do pie. They put their face in a pie of whipped cream and they have to chew a piece of gum and blow a bubble. They get giant refrigerator boxes and they do gator races down to the end of the gym and back. And the whole premise of the Wolf Challenge is focused on sportsmanship. And so while there's a winner for each of the events and we celebrate that too, the overall winner of the Wolf Challenge is based on kindness and being supportive and being a great sportsman, having great sportsmanship with everybody in the group. So we're looking forward to hosting that event for our families in March. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Beth, who is probably the biggest fan of our school library system that you will ever meet. And she is going to talk to us about library and media.
Thanks. At Ridges, we actually have 2 different libraries, one on each side. Our ED library is filled with books for kids in pre-K through 2nd grade, and our Laurel library has books that are more fitting for kids in 3rd through 5th grade. My favorite things I love about the library at Ridges is when you go in, it's always so quiet and peaceful. It's a calm environment where you can pick out your books and read them. Mrs. Hanson is our lovely librarian, and she always reads a story to us and provides activities that match the stories she reads. She also organizes our summer and winter reading programs. The summer reading program is a bingo sheet or reading log where you can write down the books you read and you get a prize if you get a certain amount of minutes or fill out the bingo sheet. Winter reading program is called Books and Bricks, and we partner with the Sherwood Library to give a Lego prize and a raffle for students that fill out their log. All of the library programs help our students find new books that they like and create a better love for reading. While I love all books, some of my favorite books are the Ranger's Apprentice series, The War That Saved My Life, and Keeper of the Lost Cities. I hope that you can come visit our library soon and see all of our amazing books.
All right. Another highlight for Ridges is our English language family nights. We are lucky at Ridges to have over 50 students currently participating in our English language program. And it's so exciting for me and to just watch these children as they start to develop both languages to become bilingual members of our school community and our larger community someday. We spend a lot of time trying to include those families in everything that we're doing within our school. So you'll see here some pictures. We had a Taekwondo drumming group come. We had a multicultural night at the high school. We most recently hosted an OMSI night where all of our elementary EL students and their families got to come and meet with a rep from OMSI and play games and learn about all kinds of fun science things. And so it brings me such great joy that we can just have, like I said earlier, so many diverse students and families at our school and that we are able to include them in everything we do and that we can all learn from one another and everything that they bring to our community. All right, with that, Josh is going to visit with you a little bit about Oregon Battle of the Books.
Josh Newmeyer, and tonight I will be talking about OBOB. OBOB stands for Oregon Battle of the Books. I have participated in OBOB at Ridges since the 3rd grade, and this year my OBOB's team name is the Smoldering Unicorns. I hope that I can participate in OBOB in middle school too. When you participate in OBOB, you read books and answer questions in a competition. Each team can have 3 to 5 members, and teams can start reading books the summer before the competitions, which are in February. Each team has a coach that will most likely be a parent of one of the members. During the competition, teams are asked 2 types of questions: in which book questions and content questions. The team with the most points at the end of each match wins, and they continue on until you have won
team that's a school champion. Reading is good for you, and OBOB gives you a chance to read, explore many genres, and try new books. Those are the many reasons why I'm thankful that Ridges participates in OBOB.
All right. And finally, Lily's going to visit with you a little bit about our Ridges ambassadors.
Twice a year, our fifth grade students can apply to be an ambassador. They fill out an application, complete an interview, and then those selected serve for a half a year term. Our Ridges ambassadors do lots of leadership jobs around the school. They help kids find their way to class in the morning, remind kids to walk in the halls, help with school community service projects, help custodians set up tables for lunch after special morning events. They walk our kinder and first grade students get to the bus at the end of the day, and they do morning announcements every Friday. My favorite part of being an ambassador is helping the little kids get to the bus. They really look up to you and they draw you pictures. It's so fun to help them, and they're always excited to see us. I like showing guests around the school and helping people find their classrooms. This year we helped at our welcome back to school night, and we also have been helping our new Middleton friends get to their classes too. It has been so fun to be an ambassador for this past fall season, and Ridges is excited to select their spring ambassadors soon. I love being a Ridges ambassador, and I'm thankful for the chance to help others in my school.
All right. Finally, I would just love to give one quick shout out to our PAC. We could not do the amazing things that we do at Ridges without this group of humans pictured here on this slide deck. And highlighted here are just a few of the things that our PAC provides for our students every single year. There's a picture there of our Neon School Dance, a highlight from our most recent Artists in Residency art project. The picture on the top right is a photo from our Winter Community Service Drive, where our PAC facilitated a drive for toys and Christmas supplies for our very own Sherwood Share Center. They do amazing events for our staff, for staff appreciation, lunches throughout the year, coffee carts, and great things to just celebrate the work that our teachers and our staff in our building do every day. That bottom picture is a picture of our Ridges Fair, which is similar to a carnival, and one of the times when it is so special that we have a gigantic campus, because our PAC fills every part of it. Both cafeterias, both gyms, the back, they go all out with games and activities, and just a great night for families. That will be in May this year for anybody wanting to join us. And then the bottom right is a picture of a movie night that we host several times throughout the year, where families can just come and the PAC provides popcorn, and they have a chance to watch a movie. So we do many fun things throughout the year, and all of those are a part, our PAC is helpful with and makes those happen for us. So we're very grateful for those. And finally, I just wanted to take a minute to highlight many of the programs and the supports that we highlighted for you tonight would not have been a part of our school this year had we not passed the educational levy this past May. And so I just personally wanted to take a minute to thank our school board and our community for their support of that levy. It does make a difference both in our school and in the lives of our kids. And I think that's evident tonight in the activities that they've shared with you that we may not have been able to provide to our kids this year had we not passed that levy. So thank you so much for your support, and thanks for letting us share a little bit about our school to you tonight.
Thank you so much for being here with us. You do such a great job being the captain of a very, very large ship. And it's clear that Ridges is a very fun place to go to school. Thank you, kids, for coming and joining us. I know it's kind of late on a school night. You guys were all so brave and well-spoken, and we loved hearing everything you guys had to share with us. So continue the good work out there. Thanks for being here. And also, Miranda, thank you for bringing in all those students and all those teachers. I know it's a big joint effort, but it's incredible that your school was able to absorb those students, right? And have them be there for the next 3-4 weeks. It's a huge effort. So we are incredibly appreciative. Thank you. All right, kiddos, you can go home if you'd like. All right. We will move on to the less exciting parts of our meeting, which starts with our reports. I'm sure yours will be exciting. Yes, we'll let Dr. Lyon lead us off with his exciting report for the evening.
All right, I am going to spend a little bit of time talking about last week and the extraordinary events that occurred. And I've got a wide number of people that need to be recognized by our community and by our school district that did some really heavy lifting last week, all the way through the weekend, and got us to the point where we could successfully and almost seamlessly operate a school district this week. I want to talk a minute about the process, and I've talked about this before, but I think it is worth emphasizing that the decisions when weather rolls in has many different lenses that the weather event is being looked at through. Christine meets with all of the public information officers in the area, and they talk about coordinating communications and what's happening with the different hospitals and fire and police and school districts and churches. And it all goes into the mix. We look at a number of different weather models, debate back and forth as to which model is most accurate. And then the next piece on that is, regardless of all of those models and weather forecasts, we have people who get out there at 3 a.m. and drive the roads and give us real-time reports that then goes into a decision-making conversation with all Washington County superintendents, who all their districts have done the same thing. And we collectively look at what we have. And then I talk to the transportation director, and we come to a conclusion that has a lot of data in it and a lot of really robust conversation. The 3 drivers, Sandy Miller is our transportation director, and she did a great job all the way through this. Javier Davenport, Eric Stein, and Casey Jebbins all are out there at 3 a.m. driving the roads and giving that feedback. And so they have a thankless job, but a very, very important job. We all breathlessly wait for the flash alerts, and Christine Andreg is the person who gets it right every time. And she has the responsibility of translating all the decision-making into a coherent message that has to go out very quickly and has to be exactly accurate again and again and again. And she, all the way through last week, did a brilliant job with that. And she deserves a very special recognition for the job that she did. A couple days into this, we discovered through fire alarms that were going off at Middleton that we had a significant event at Middleton Elementary. And that event involved pipes on the fire suppression system in the ceilings in multiple locations bursting, and then it does its job. It dumps water on everything. And it dumped water over the course of many, many hours into classrooms and into common areas. We have a team of maintenance workers who are absolutely unrecognized. They do their thing. They go about the schools. They have their work orders and they take care of things. But they were the first responders up there. They were the ones who walked into gushing pipes, water everywhere, a little bit of chaos, and just dropped right into action, right in the middle of really, really bad weather, to the point where when they got there, they knew they were probably not going to be able to leave. And in fact, I heard that one of our maintenance vans had to be abandoned on that hill up to Middleton for a period of time. So I want to give a special shout out to Paul Spath, Darren Golden, Francisco Apolando, Greg Wall, and Ian McNeely. And those 5, they really, really saved this district. In addition, Jim Rose, our Chief Operations Officer, there's pictures of him vacuuming water and, doing everything necessary, whatever it was called for, to stabilize Middleton. And Jim has also done an incredible job in getting to the contractors that fix Middleton in a manner that was very, very timely. And we were very lucky. Balfour was the company, is the company we're working with. They're also working with Lake Oswego and other school districts. But I think within 18 hours, we had an enormous generator dryer dropped right out on the side of Middleton that was going to dry out those classrooms. And I can't imagine the demand of that machine from other school districts, but we got them lined up. We got the fire suppression system people out there working through the weekend, and Jim was the one who coordinated all of that. Then we realized that we weren't going to be able to have classes for 3 grade levels at Middleton. And the conversation quickly turned to, okay, what's the plan? We know that 9, 10, 11 classrooms are going to be shut down indefinitely. A month, 2 months, 6 months, we didn't know. And so we turned immediately to 3 people who just amazingly within 6 hours started to develop this thing. And this is Marlene Carroll, Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, and our principals, Miranda Johnson and Millie Wilkinson. And the 3 of them, like they were so far out in front of it. It was like, whoa, 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 what are we doing here? And yet they were putting it all together. And if you want the evidence of that, the key 4th piece was back to Christine. It was the creation of this document, which went out to our community, which really serves as a model for what you do in this type of situation. This is as comprehensive and as well-written and as clean a document as you can find regarding emergency response by a school system. And this was so valuable to Middleton parents who were wondering what was going to happen. You know, there were big decisions to be made. Do we try to pivot to online learning? No. Well, do we not have class at all? No. You know, and it shaped up so very quickly. And so I want to recognize the 2 principals, Marlene and Christine, for the quality of that work. It was extraordinary. Then we had the move, and that fell on a Saturday. And so as Miranda said, not only did we have the Ridges staff show up and pitch in, and not only did we have the Middleton staff, but we had other people there that the environment was, we're going to do this. We're going to take care of this. And including the Middleton PAC, who provided pizza and drinks, and, you know, everybody was just pitching in. The key element of it all, however, happened to be Mark Gribble and his football players, who, while we're all watching, just seeing our backs go, ouch, he brought in the cavalry. And those kids, and it is funny because one young man in the midst of this on Saturday morning, I'm out there shoveling a little bit, and he rolls in on his bicycle in shorts and a t-shirt. Yeah. And he is ready to go. And I want to name these students who on a Saturday, under Coach Gribble's leadership, and Coach Gribble worked hard all day that as well. Former players who showed up there were his son, Nick Gribble, Nate Fillinger Palate, I hope I'm saying that right, and Austin Hannon. And then our current players who were there were Isaac Bean, Garrett Johnson, Jones Dickover, Ethan Morris, Wilson Medina, and Aiden Rodriguez. And it is an understatement that we would not have been able to do that without those young men moving that furniture and those boxes at lightning speed. And all they required was pizza. And we had a lot of pizza. So we took care of that, and we are very thankful for them. The other piece that is behind the scenes, but it's important, is we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage at Middleton. And to interface with our insurance carrier and all the pieces of that fell to Gary Bennett and his fiscal team. And we are, with precision, handling all of the damages and all of the costs with that. And Gary, thank you to your team for taking care of that. And I think lastly, we were trying desperately not to just have all the sporting events and things implode as they were doing. And I want to give a shout out to Adam Mitchell and Katie Hartman, who on a daily basis, we would review, what can we do? What can we do? Can we get the kids in the gym to practice? And we put that piece together, I think, as well as you could possibly put it together. Over this weekend, the Sherwood Youth Basketball hosted a big tournament, and they were really worried that that tournament was not going to happen. And not only did it happen, but the surrounding communities who came in, those teams, they were just full of praise of how we pulled that tournament off. And I want to give a shout out to Brandon Maskew and Ryan Hawkins for making that happen, because they really pitched in and got those school entryways and pathways in shape. And they took really good care of our gyms over the course of the weekend. So that was a big lift by this community. And we just did it was really inspiring to see everybody pull together. And there was not one case, if somebody was asked to do something or it was suggested that they do something, they just pitched right in. So we are in really good shape. We do think that we're looking at a 4-week transition of the kindergarten and first grade classrooms at Ridges. And then we're going to have to do it again. We're going to have to move those classrooms back over to Middleton. And we're talking about how we do that. The other aspect of this, and all of this was just a preamble to this part, the makeup days. And yes, so we have a plan, and we have been actively talking. We lost 4 instructional days, and tomorrow morning we will put out formally what is said tonight regarding the plan for making up those instructional days. In the midst of our discussions about making them up, the Oregon Department of Education announced that they were excusing a number of hours because of the emergency situation throughout the state. So we had to kind of go back in and then refactor that into the mix. So that I don't get it wrong, I'm going to turn it over to Steve, who is going to describe what is going to happen regarding our calendar from here to the end of the year. And then all of this will be live to community and to school district tomorrow morning.
Yeah, thank you. So as Jeremy said, we lost those 4 instructional days due to the inclement weather last week. And so we had to figure out how to make up some time. Also, as Dr. Lyon said, the governor declared a statewide emergency and granted districts up to 14 hours. And so, which is roughly 2 days for us. And so knowing that we lost 4 and were given 2 by the state, we can add 1 day back and still be in good shape. And so our to ensure that we meet instructional hours and to rebalance our trimesters. Part of the challenge is when you lose all of the days out of one trimester, then you're short that trimester. And so to rebalance those, we're recommending the 2 following changes to this year's calendar for the rest of the school year. The first, following the language in both of our collective bargaining agreements, we're recommending that we use President's Day, which is currently a non-contract day on the calendar, as our makeup day, converting it to an instructional day. That puts that day back into trimester 2. And then along with that, we're recommending that once again, to balance trimesters 2 and 3, we move the end of trimester 2 from March 8th to March 14th. So back just under a week, with the teacher workday being Friday, March 15th. And so then that would give us 57 instructional days in Tri-2 and 57 instructional days in Tri-3. We'd balance those. It would give teachers the opportunity to make sure that kids receive the information that they needed for that trimester 2 period of time. The high school also moved their conferences, which were to occur this week, to February 8th. And so they've already made that decision, and I think that's going to work well for them. So, you know, unfortunately, I get to kind of give the bummer part of the information, but we're trying to keep the impact as minimal as we can, knowing that Changes to district calendars in the middle of a year frustrate everyone. Nobody loves it. At the same time, we have to do what's right for kids. We need to make sure that we meet those Division 22 requirements and plan accordingly.
And I will finish with this. Thank you, Steve, and we'll have that information out tomorrow. The last real heartfelt thanks goes to the parents of this community who hung in there with us, showed a lot of grace. I got some firsthand reports of how things were going in some of the homes, and I know it wasn't pretty. But really, thank you to the community. At one point, Abby reached out for donations to have a lunch for Middleton staff, and the donations were significant. So very much thank you to the community and to the parents for stepping up. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, up next would typically be Sabrina. She's not able to be here, so I think Christine is going to share her message on her behalf.
Yes, I received this via email from Sabrina, so I'm gonna just read it as written. Board Chair Hawkins, Superintendent Lyon, and Board of Directors, I am so sorry I could not make it tonight. Last month, SHS was able to donate over 1,000 pounds of food through our food drive, and 72 gifts were donated to local kids in need through Sherwood for Kids' Sake. These past few weeks, we have been trying to build a better culture at SHS through Better Bowman Days. We have been hosting events to improve school pride and promoting kindness and positivity during the days. We have been promoting clubs, school events, and random acts of kindness to help make students enjoy school even more. Our annual Bowman Pageant event kicked off at the beginning of the month. Bowman Pageant is a fundraiser put on by Sherwood High School to raise money for the Kids Making Miracles program through Dornbecker Children's Hospital. The pageant is available to seniors who meet the requirements. There are 16 pairs that compete to raise the most money for children in need. These pairs have been going around to local businesses asking for donations to Dornbeckers, and we are so glad to have such an amazing group represent SHS. One way to get involved with Bowman Pageant is to attend our annual staff versus student basketball game this Saturday, the 27th at 3 p.m. in the high school gym. There will be challenges that you can donate to see a certain team have to do each quarter. This is a great way for the community to get involved with SHS and to see all of our contestants. We are hosting an on-campus blood drive on February 13th. Every donation saves lives, and our area is in desperate need of as many donations as possible. The arts program has Broadway Bits coming up on February 1st and has their play You Can't Take It With You on February 9th, 10th, 16th, and 17th. This is open to the community and a great way to support our arts program. One of our unified basketball teams had a game last week at Woodburn, and they battled their way to a win. Hopefully rescheduled soon, they will be playing the seniors of both the boys and girls basketball teams. This is also a fundraiser for the unified program, and we would love to see the community come out and support. Our unified basketball teams have been killing it this season. Boys and girls wrestling has been off to a great start to their season and have 4 matches coming up. Boys wrestling won their first 2 matches and are 2-0 in league, and the girls are also doing well. They have a big 4-way match coming against Century, Forest Grove, and Glencoe tomorrow. Both our boys and girls swimming teams have started off the season strong and are hoping to keep that momentum going through their last few meets of the year. Girls swimming are 3-0 in league, senior night Thursday at Newburgh. Boys swimming are 1-2 and have senior night tonight at Newburgh. Dance is doing really well so far in their competition season. They have a competition this Saturday and are preparing to go to nationals in Orlando on February 7th. Shout out to Brody Belzer, Riley Eggleston, and Haley Moghan for making the all-state dance team. I apologize if I pronounced those incorrectly. Props to our cheer team who received 2nd place in their competition this past weekend. They are preparing for 2 competitions this next weekend at Lake Ridge and Westview, and in 3 weeks are heading to state. Also, boys and girls basketball have transitioned from preseason and had their league opener last week. They've got a long season ahead of them and they will finish the regular season strong.
Make a really good Sabrina.
I think she does it way better.
She's enthusiastic. She's a high schooler. All right. Up next, we have a representative from SCA who would like to share with us. Kyler's here. Welcome.
Good evening, Dr. Lyon, Chair Hawkins, and Board of Directors. It's nice to be here with you tonight. It's going to be a little different. If we had been here last week, I wouldn't have had as much to say, but here we are after the week we had. I did just want to start out. I know Dr. Lyon talked quite a bit about what happened last week with Middleton, but I want to give you a little bit of teacher perspective side of that as well and how that has all transpired. Last week, shortly after the news came out about the leak in the water in Middleton, I got a phone call from one of the Middleton building reps, and it was before any information was known, no plan yet. We didn't know what was going to happen. And she's like, I think this is going to be a problem because people are going to be freaking out. And, I think teachers' minds right away go to worst case scenario. And we're thinking, how am I going to move my classroom? I might be going to a new school. When am I going to do this? How is this all going to work? So going through the rest of the week, I had told her, let me know, fill me in on what the plan is, and went through the rest of last week, hadn't heard anything. Going into this week, hadn't heard anything. And so I was kind of just operating on, well, no news must be good news. So this afternoon I gave her a call and I said, so how's it going? What has been happening with the transition? And she said, it has been amazing for the situation. She said, when we showed up on Saturday, we saw district administrators there. She said there were probably 50 people there, the football team's there, all these people there ready to support us. And we're in our classrooms packing up boxes. And part of the time, people were asking, hey, how can I help? What do you want to do next? And it was almost too many people in there at one time trying to find stuff for them to help out. And she said that through the whole process, communicating with the Middleton staff, communication from Ms. Wilkinson was fantastic. And it really was the best of a really terrible situation. So I did want to acknowledge just a few people too that have already been acknowledged, but through conversations, I know that Ms. Wilkinson and Mrs. Johnson both did not get a nice fun snow week last week, home with family. I can't imagine the planning and the logistics of how do we move kids and figure out new schedules. Just thinking about what that must have taken. I'm glad that they were in charge of that because I know that was a lot of work that they had to do. Administrators, thank you for showing up. I know that made a big difference for our staff seeing you there. And there was specific comments about how nice that was and what a morale boost it was to see our district leaders hands-on in the building helping with that situation. I know a lot of the maintenance staff, and transportation. I'm sure even the food service people had to be involved in figuring out, well, now we have more kids at Bridges to feed, and how do we make that all work? It's just an incredible amount of work in such a short amount of time with the snow days and people not being in buildings to work. It was just, I was surprised when I heard kids were starting at Ridges on Tuesday. I was thinking, wow, that was really fast to get them over there and going. So thank you, everyone. That really has, it was noticed, and thank you for all that work. And last of all, in recognition of Board Appreciation Month, on behalf of our teachers, I want to thank our board directors for the work you guys do. I know that you guys volunteer your time and you miss out on family time and events, and a lot of time gets spent, I know, outside of these meetings as well. So we want to thank you for that work. I wish I were a better, more elegant speaker like our administrators with their wonderful words they had for you, but I'll just kind of leave it at that. In recognition of Board Appreciation Month, SEA is going to make a donation to both the Sherwood Share Center and the Bowman Family Foundation. And those are both two local organizations that support our family and communities here that we want to help them in their mission as well. So with that, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. That is so generous of you guys. We really appreciate that. Up next from OSEA, would you like to come up and join us? Thanks for being here.
Yes. Chair Hawkins, Dr. Lyons, members of the board. OSEA classified staff want to thank you for the hundreds of hours you volunteered to do this. It's a measurable amount of energy you expend to ensure the students of Sherwood have a wonderful and best education possible. We appreciate the support you show the staff of the district. As a token of our appreciation, the OSEA classified staff has made a donation to the Share Center in your name of $1,000. And we just want to say our thank you for everything. So.
All right, I have.
Thank you so much. That is a very generous donation. Hundreds of hours. You sound like my husband. He put you up to that? Hundreds of hours. That's okay. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here and thank you for that generous donation. That's really kind. All right. Board members, Hans, I almost forgot you were there. Are you still there? Wizard of Oz?
I'm still here.
Okay. Do you want to start us off with a board report?
Do I want to start a board report?
Yeah,
I don't have much to say from being absent, but
that's
the
okay.
week was glorious in the way everybody came together. We've heard a lot about that. So I would second everything, and I'm glad kids are back in school.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Director Thornton.
Just make it fast. Yeah, I have nothing really to report. Just I'm glad to be back after the holidays and I'm glad to see everybody again and looking forward to the rest of the year. I am super impressed with everything I've been hearing about how this came together. So yeah, but nothing to report.
I'll just echo, nothing really to report other than just immense gratitude for this community and this administrative team and our teachers. I can't believe these kids went back to school on Tuesday after everything that happened. I was blown away just like Kyler was at reading that too. That's it. Go see the girls basketball team. We saw the league opener against Forest Grove and they're on a roll. So go Bowman.
If I were to go on my usual spiel, I would just say everything that's really much already been said. Just very impressed with this community, with the staff, with the schools, with the football team, with everybody that's played a hand in this. It's really inspiring to see people come together in somebody else's time of need. I think that that's what it's all about. And it just, nothing but a smile on your face, like people helping each other out. So thank you to everybody who contributed to that. Yes, very happy kids are back.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of, like you said, we took some donations in and Miranda from Honey Rose Boards offered very generously to do everything at cost as long as she had volunteers. So myself as a couple parents from Middleton went over Monday morning and made sandwiches, which I thought was just like a free class because we learned how to make really great sandwiches. But we got to make sandwiches with her for a couple hours and bring them over and the staff was so appreciative. It was so hot in that building because they're trying to dry everything out that they were having to come in and like strip down just to enjoy their lunch. But the teachers all had smiles on their faces. They wanted to walk me around, show me their new spaces. I got to see some classrooms set up in the library and one new out in the pod. And it does warm your heart to see people, which doesn't surprise me in our community, but just to see people taking it in stride and making these beautiful classrooms, which I thought would look nice and be temporary, but literally like every child's name tag had been moved to their desk and pictures had been put on the wall. And it was pretty remarkable what they were able to get done in just a couple of days. And I know I was at that basketball tournament all weekend and I had someone come over and say, I think I just saw our superintendent helping at Middleton. I'm like, probably. So I know people really appreciated the kind of all hands on deck feel. It's a big effort. And so with that being said, we had extra funds. Today we were able to supply the maintenance crew with lunch and we still have some extra dollars, not a ton, but some. And so Millie said it would be really nice to thank the Ridges staff when we're finished there or, you know, do something nice when our teachers are able to come back. And so I really appreciate everybody who gave a donation. We've been able to do some really nice things. And I think it has kind of brought the morale up a little bit. That's all I have to really say. You want
Can I
to
add one thing?
Yeah.
One of the funniest comments came from, I got this anecdotally, that one of the Middleton students upon arrival at Ridges spied the expansive playground and said, we're not going back.
Yeah. That's what I said. My kids would be like, this is amazing, recess somewhere else for 4 weeks. So I'm sure kids were excited, even though parents were panicking a little bit about what was going to happen. But I'm very proud of our district. I'm glad we had the space to absorb those kids. We're really lucky. A lot of other districts don't have that space, and we're lucky that our crew is already working on the construction piece of it because a lot of other districts don't have that happening right now either. So thank you. It's a big deal. All right, we will move along to public comment. Tonight, we have one electronically submitted comment that is pertaining to the agenda. So we will let Christine read that.
Okay, give me just a second to transition.
No worries, take your time. I'll read our little spiel. I haven't read it in a long time, just for the reminder at home, but public comment for this meeting can be provided via in-person attendance or via online submission, up to 3 minutes in length. For in-person public comment, sign up is required and must be completed 15 minutes prior to the meeting start time. Please arrive at the district office boardroom no later than 6:45 if you'd like to sign up for in-person public comment. There's more, but I think you're ready. Okay, go for it.
Beth Farnham from Sherwood. As a parent of a student with disabilities, we have relied on Northwest Regional ESD services throughout our daughter's education. We are grateful for these services and this funding. I would urge SSD to increase and improve their plan surrounding the youth transitional program and vocational rehab. In speaking with parents who have older children needing to transition to a work environment, there's little support, example, job coach, to help or opportunities for our youth in transition. As you are adopting this district service plan, I urge you to take this into consideration and action. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, we will move on to our information and discussion portion of the evening, and Marlene Carroll will lead us in a presentation about early literacy success school district grant applications. A mouthful.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lyon, Chair Hawkins, Board of Directors. Okay, the purpose of the presentation tonight is to share information about Sherwood School District's early literacy plan as a part of the Early Learning Success School District Grant application as required by the Early Literacy Success Initiative legislation. It's also to provide an opportunity for public comment on the application and to seek board approval for the early literacy grant application. So what is this? Early Learning Success Initiative, also known as HB 3198, has 4 components. The component that we are going to spend most of our time on is the Early Literacy Success School District Grants, because that is what targets school districts. It's a non-competitive application-based grant, and the legislation supported this multifaceted grant program to support comprehensive early literacy plans that are research-based and culturally responsive. The state invested about $90 million for the 23-25 biennium throughout the state of Oregon, and all school districts throughout the state applied for this grant. Our early literacy plan then covers the initial 2023-25 biennium, and it must be approved and board meetings submitted by February 28th, 2024. So we had the grant application open on October 1st. It's been kind of a quick turnaround. You usually have some time to plan for grants, but we're really excited about the money, and we already had a plan for spending it. Okay, so that means our allocation, when you divide it by every other district, because every single district applied for the grant, is about $302,000 for the 23-24 school year, and then $100,000, excuse me, for the 24-25 school year. There are some short-term challenges, as I mentioned, and those are around planning for this grant, doing a robust audit of all your literacy programs and all your instruction in really 2 months can be challenging. But there's also some long-term challenges with this funding, and that's that we just don't know yet if it's a stable funding source. So, for example, we would love the opportunity to hire some early literacy instructional coaches in our schools or some FTE around like high dosage tutoring, but we don't know if this money is going to be there after the 24-25 school year. So we've really invested in some other areas that the grant asks us to invest in. When we did an audit of our program, there were some things that were pretty strong in the Sherwood School District. We had already been working hard towards our K-12 literacy framework and revamping our early literacy program. We've invested in instruction around foundational reading skills through curriculum adoptions. But we also have invested heavily in teacher training around the LETRS program, which is a program that's focused, it's a graduate level program focused on teaching teachers how to teach the foundational reading skills. Some of the other strengths are just our educator learning and training programs. We have instructional coaches at our schools, and they are trained to support our staff when they're learning new materials, but also when they're learning how to teach those small intervention groups. We have some areas for improvement, though. We don't have a student growth assessment K-12. We have a growth assessment for K-2 students in the DIBELS 8, and we use it to progress monitor our 3-5 students. And then we have the ERLA for our for students first grade through kindergarten. And we need to make a more robust assessment system for all of our students. We also have our core instructional materials and aligned curriculum. As you know, we're in the middle of this adoption process, and we're really looking for that K-5 basal curriculum or core curriculum that meets all of the needs required in this grant, but also really the high quality instructional materials that we want our students to have. We want to see more robust literacy interventions, and as always, we want to continue to train our staff and those who haven't been trained in the literacy instruction and interventions. Okay. So part of this presentation is sharing exactly what we wrote in the grant for you to approve tonight. And so I'm going to go through the 4 components and kind of share and read those to you. There are 4 allowable uses. The first is professional development and coaching. Professional and development and coaching defined by the state is research-aligned literacy strategies for teachers and administrators in early elementary grades. So with our new curriculum materials, we really need to teach our teachers how to teach them. And so that is the investment in getting our instructional coaches trained so that they can help support teachers. The other thing is we are allocating funds towards the LETRS training. We haven't trained all of our pre-K through 5 teachers, and that is our ultimate goal, is that every educator in Sherwood has foundational literacy training, whether it's through their graduate program or we supply it through the LETRS training. We want to continue to send staff to Oregon Response to Instruction and Intervention. That's where you really learn about MTSS and supporting those students who are not meeting benchmark in literacy. And then training our teachers on our new assessment system so that our staff is really looking at and responding to any time that students aren't making the growth that they should. Another portion of the grant is extended learning programs. That's defined as using research-aligned literacy strategies. And those have to be made available to students in early elementary grades by licensed teachers or qualified tutors, including home-based summer reading and intensive summer school program. Due to the financial constraints of the grant, at this time, we likely will not be putting too much money towards this. We will be using our ESSER funds, our remaining ESSER funds, to target summer programming, and we will have any additional funds from this year that we can put towards that, but there just isn't enough money to go around. The programs are expensive and the instructional materials are expensive. And so this is something that we hope to allocate more resources to in future years. But at this time, we haven't dedicated as much funding to this area. All right. The third area is high dosage tutoring. And high dosage tutoring integrates reading and writing, and it's delivered by a highly qualified tutor. So again, in this one, due to the current financial limitations, we're unable to implement high dosage tutoring at this time. But we do hope to do that in the future. We have never implemented high dosage tutoring. And in a short period, it's hard to put together a plan to do that. So one of the things that we're going to start doing around this area is there are districts in our region that are going to start working on really small groups of high dosage tutoring. And so some of our plan is having our teaching and learning TOSAs partner with those districts and see how they're running it. It's kind of complex. And you can use outside organizations and you can do partnerships. And so it's a little bit different than just working within the school staff. And we're just going to learn more about it through this biennium. And we're crossing our fingers we get more money the next time so that we can use these services and meaningfully plan. All right, the last one is research aligned curriculum. And this includes assessment systems and high quality instructional materials. So it's the adoption and implementation of curricula that uses research aligned literacy strategies. We know that core instruction is the highest leverage investment for improving instruction and literacy. Those instructional materials really do matter. And so that is our number one priority. It gives all students that common foundation. It allows all teachers to collaborate with each other, and it makes sure that everybody's receiving that baseline level of education, which we want for our students. And finally, I talked about this a little bit already. We'll use the funding to improve our assessment system. And I already shared with you, I got a little ahead of myself, about our DIBELS program in K2. And our goal is to expand that assessment to K5 and using a different assessment tool than ERLA, because right now the ERLA does not necessarily align in all of its areas to the science of reading. And so we need to use a tool that is updated. The last 2 pages of this slide deck is the budget. We are required to include kind of a breakdown of what we estimate the budget to be. This is a tentative budget because we have not chosen the assessment tool and we have not chosen the instructional materials. And so we do the best we can and correct it with ODE later. And there's the 24-25 investments. Any questions?
I do. Thank you for your presentation. With regards to the ESSER funds, in terms of the summer extended programs, I guess how long will the ESSER funds buy us? How much longer, essentially?
We don't really have a lot of ESSER funds left. So this summer, they have to be spent by this summer.
Okay.
And we will spend them, and we will spend probably more than what we have.
Okay. So do you see a gap in offering summer programs after that? Like it'll just stop, or what? I know that that's kind of a long-winded question, but
Sure.
is it the goal to continue that and not have a gap?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, always. The goal is to continue that and not have a gap. Last year, our summer program looked a little bit different than years past, and it really was focused on early literacy. And we used our multi-tiered system of support to invite students in who were not meeting benchmark. And so we want to continue that. It's like the high dosage tutoring light, essentially. And we had our trained teachers who were trained in the core materials, the Hegarty that we adopted, the Bridge to Reading program, and they instructed in a summer program like that. And so we want to continue to do that, but we'd like it to be more than just, a couple of classrooms. We'd like to expand it. Our hope is that as this, that this will be renewed and that some of those budget items will come under for the 24-25 year, and then we can invest it in there. So we're looking at trying to keep things as cost effective as possible so that we can then use that funding for the summer of 2025.
Sure. Thank you.
Are there any more questions? Hans, any questions from you? I'm gonna assume no. Okay. This application requires approval. So do we have a motion to approve the district's early literacy success school district grant application as presented?
I make a motion to approve the district's early literacy success school district grant application narrative as presented.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Great. All those in favor say aye.
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 That is Hans, I'm gonna say. Okay. Motion, all those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we are gonna move along while you're up there. It looks like we have, the need to authorize the Northwest Regional ESD local service plan. So is there a motion to adopt the resolution to authorize the 2024-2025 Northwest Regional ESD local service plan as presented?
Up in front of me here. I recommend that we make a motion to adopt the resolution to authorize the 2024-25 Northwest Regional ESD local service plan as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Marlene. We appreciate it. All right. It's noted in our agenda that we are gonna postpone finalizing the academic calendar into our next meeting. So we will do that at the February board meeting. And at this time, we'll have additional public comments that were not pertaining to the agenda. I know we have several in person and I think just one electronic, right? Oh, you have several. Okay, so typically we ping pong back and forth. So we'll start with one of our students and then we'll ping pong back and forth until we get through them. Sorry, I thought we just had one. All right, first up is Samantha Russell. We just have one public comment at a time.
We're gonna stand up here though.
We only allow one at a time.
Yeah, just one at a time. But we'll call you each individually. Up first, though, is Samantha Russell.
Hi.
Hi.
We are here for the banning of assault rifles in school, concealed assault rifles in school. A.W. Watson Elementary, loaded gun found by kid in bathroom, not charged. Central Middle School, resource officer left loaded gun outside the office desk, not charged. Bartlett High School, volunteer football coach had unloaded gun fall out of locker found by student, not charged. The presence of guns don't make me and my classmates feel safer, but who am I to say? My name is Samantha Russell. I go by Sam for short. I'm a sophomore at Sherwood High School, and I've suffered with anxiety and depression for 3 years. If I saw a gun in the girls' bathroom sitting on the counter, I want to pick it up. But I can't say for my classmates and the rest of the people in my school. I want to feel safe at school more than I already do because I feel like it's almost every week that I'm seeing a news report from children who have died in school shootings, and it just makes me more worried for me and my classmates and friends. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, are you reading our first comment, Mr. Emmer? Okay.
Claire Chirilla, Sherwood. As a high school student in modern America, it seems as though a school shooting is not an if anymore, it's a when. I've had multiple conversations with fellow students about this. What hiding places would work the best at our school, what floor or wing would be safest, or what classroom we'd feel safest in. Growing up on social media and seeing shootings daily on the news and on different media platforms is jarring. But I don't know any different. This is what I've grown up to expect. High school students now expect shootings. This is absolutely unacceptable. I shouldn't have to go to school knowing that fact that this day could be the last with the possibility of gun violence. Knowing that there are people who are allowed to carry concealed weapons no matter what reason makes students feel unsafe. There should be absolutely no reason for there to be weapons on school grounds. School should be a place where future citizens can feel safe and flourish, not be hurt. School is for learning, not for guns.
Thank you. Said 2 minutes. I think this is Yvette. Am I saying that wrong, Rodriguez? Sorry, I feel like I'm butchering your name.
Hello, my name is Yvette Fraser Rodriguez, and I'm a student at Sherwood High School. I'm here today to discuss the topic of banning concealed carry weapons at Sherwood School District. Guns should not be allowed in school, contrary to what may seem logical. Having guns present on campus increases the students' exposure to gun violence. A study conducted by the CDC in collaboration with the U.S. Department of Education and the U.S. Department of Justice shows that in the 1990s, school-associated violent deaths decreased when federal laws were implemented that restricted guns within 1,000 feet of school campus. In an extensive list created by Gitford's Law Center, it's evident that incidents involving guns on campus are common. Guns have been left accessible to children on campus. Guns have been discharged unintentionally on campus. Guns have been used in time of personal stress or conflict on campus, and guns have been mishandled during discipline on campus. I'd like to cite some of these specific events. In December 2019, a school resource officer threatened to shoot a student. In October 2018, a gun loaded with 19 rounds of ammunition fell out of a substitute elementary school while trying to help kids do cartwheels. In March 2020, a school resource officer was showing a school maintenance worker his gun in the school parking lot when an officer unintentionally shot his gun in the eye. In January 2020, a father was picking up his children when he accidentally shot himself in the leg in a school parking lot. I'm here today because I don't want to be another statistic on this list. Banning concealed carry weapons on campus will increase the safety of all those present on campus. Data collected from our survey has proven that there's overwhelming support from both students and staff towards the ban. And as a student myself who attends Sherwood High School, I want to feel safe on campus. I don't want to be scared every morning as I walk into the building. The leading cause of death for children and adolescents aging from 1 to 19 is firearm-related injury. A Spanish-American philosopher named George Santayana once said, "Those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it." And if we fail to remember the danger guns pose on campus, we fail to recognize the lives of students and teachers lost due to gun violence. It's time to learn from our past and adjust for the safety of all those present in Sherwood School District.
Julia Wallace, Sherwood. As a student, I feel unsafe knowing there aren't regulations put in place preventing parents, volunteers, or even simple visitors to the school from bringing a concealed weapon onto campus. There is too high a degree of carelessness on both the student side and the person who carries a gun onto campus, making it probable that in the case of someone bringing a weapon onto campus for someone to abuse its presence instead of turning it in. We had instances last year of adults trying to enter the building forcefully, causing classes to lock down, and even situations like that where the perpetrator was unarmed or handled poorly by the school. I am worried that we are not prepared for a case like this where the person is armed.
And I know this is not going to make me popular, but I'm going to ask you guys to refrain from clapping because we did set that rule before when we had back and forth public comments. And so although I support students and I love that you guys are here advocating for yourself, I feel like we have to keep that rule consistent, if you don't mind. Even though you're doing it very respectfully, I think we need to refrain. Trevor Suey, you're up next.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Lyon. I'm Trevor Suey. I'm a sophomore at Sherwood High School. And as most of you know, I have been working tirelessly to ban the concealed carry of firearms on our campuses. Although this process has been extremely discouraging for me, I cannot in good conscience know that there is nobody working to protect students and teachers in our district from gun violence. When I learned about Senate Bill 554, I thought it was common sense that guns should not be anywhere near schools. But quickly, I was faced with reluctance to support this ban. Knowing that I am the one that has to take charge and take charge, knowing that I am the one that has to take charge, knowing that I am the one that has to take charge in this is disappointing. I am a high schooler who should be able to focus on my learning, my social life, and my hobbies. But because nobody else is willing to, I will fight for what I know is right. You all should be doing everything you can to keep our schools safe, and this is something that is so simple, but yet it sends such a strong message that Sherwood stands against gun violence and takes any and all measures to protect their students. If you truly believe that in the case of a shooting, you would be safest by someone with a concealed handgun license, I would like to let you know that in order to obtain that license, you have to pay $60 and take an online course. Nearly anyone with $60 in their pocket can obtain one and walk into a school with a loaded handgun. 90% of all high fatality gun massacres since 1966 have occurred in locations where civilian guns were allowed. There are hundreds of examples of mishandled guns in schools, even though they were legally allowed to be there. In November 2015, an elementary school student being escorted out of a classroom reached into a deputy's holster and pulled the trigger of a semi-automatic pistol. April 27th, 2015, an 8th grade student stole an unloaded .38 caliber gun from an officer's car in the school parking lot. The gun was later found in the school cafeteria. In Holly Hill, Florida, May 3rd, 2017, a volunteer at the K-12 school left a loaded gun in the bathroom where it was found by a student. At Kingston High School in Michigan, a grandfather left a handgun at a high school during a basketball tournament. A woman found the gun on the floor of the bleachers. These are just a few examples of hundreds of mishaps just like this. This could happen anywhere at any time. I would like to remind you that 38 school districts in Oregon have gone through with this ban. Not only the larger ones that you would expect, like PPS, but also rural school districts like Sisters, Tillamook, Philomath, Klamath Falls, and many more. Most surrounding school districts have already passed the ban to restrict concealed carry, including Tigard-Tualatin, Lake Oswego, Westland, Wilsonville, Beaverton, Hillsborough, and more. The truth is that Sherwood is falling behind the banning of concealed carry firearms. Thank you.
Rochelle Rohrwasser, educator in Sherwood. Please know, as an individual and professional, I am beyond concerned and honestly shocked that people are allowed to conceal and carry into our district buildings. In the country we live in these days, with the reality of gun violence and mass shooting every day, I'm beyond perplexed why Sherwood School District would allow such a thing. Please take action to change this policy ASAP.
Ella Wright.
Good evening. I'm Ella Wright, and I'm a junior at Sherwood High School. Growing up as a student at public school, I always feared the very real possibility of a shooting. It's been talked about since I was in kindergarten. We've done monthly drills and lectures about what to do if it happens. The schools have done a great job of making us aware of what to do in these situations. However, licensed or not, lives are at risk. Allowing guns at school property is just one accident or one purposeful incident waiting to happen. Thank you.
Claire Pirenboom, Sherwood. Although I can't attend tonight's meeting, I would like to express my support towards the banning of concealed carry firearms on Sherwood campuses. As a senior at SHS, many of my peers are sitting in front of you today, taking out time from their busy evenings to advocate for our buildings to be a gun-free environment. Your job as the board is to serve us as students, enhance our education, and make the decisions that are best for us. Bottom line is that guns have no place in a learning environment. Our school's purpose is to protect students and give them a safe environment where we are able to focus on our education rather than distraction and unknowns of firearms on the campus. This ban impacts us as students. We are coming to you as our advocates and decision makers for this community, asking you to listen to our need for safety. I hope you take the time to make a decision regarding our passionate demand of banning the concealed carry of firearms on Sherwood campuses. I hope you are able to listen to your students and the youth voice of Sherwood as we rely on you to prioritize our needs.
Erica Haas.
Good evening. Thank you so much for allowing me this time to speak with you guys. I am a volunteer with Moms Demand Action, Erica with a red shirt. I am their Sherwood local group lead. I am also a resident of the Sherwood School District and a mom to a wonderful 9-year-old little boy who goes to St. Francis Catholic School. Tonight, I'm asking the board to please consider adding the adoption of KGBB to a future school board agenda so we can discuss this issue more extensively. Oregon is one of only 8 states that has an exception to allow concealed firearms on school property. Currently, school grounds are gun-free zones, except if you have a CHL, and then you're allowed to bring the weapon onto campus. A CHL is a concealed handgun license, which is only required, the only requirement to get it is an online course and $60. So needless to say, it's quite simple and easy to get a CHL. Gun deaths are the leading cause of children, surpassing car accidents as of 2020. We as adults in this room need to do everything we can possible to keep our children safe. In my opinion, Sherwood adopting KGBB is a very important and incredibly easy step on this way. Some people think the only thing stopping a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, and I wholeheartedly disagree. The solution to this problem is not adding more guns into the mix. Currently, 38 other school districts have adopted this law, and I honestly don't see a reason why Sherwood shouldn't be in that list. As one of the other speakers said before, we have Lake Oswego, Wilsonville, many school districts. So Sherwood is not blazing any trails or doing anything radically different. They're just aligning themselves with rational people within the state of Oregon. So thank you very much. I really hope that you guys can adopt KGBB and put it on the agenda. Thank you very much for your time.
That was the last in-person comment, so you.
I got one more.
Oh, okay.
Bill and Beth Farnham, Sherwood. We wanted to thank the district office team, SSD Board of Directors, for the timely communication with regards to the school closures last week. If possible, it is always nice to know in advance of a 2-hour delay to be able to coordinate work, childcare, and meetings if needed. We know that the district does not take canceling school lightly, and there are many factors taken into consideration to delay or cancel. Even if the decision changes from a 2-hour delay to no school, we appreciate knowing about the 2-hour delay as soon as possible, which you all did and was very much appreciated. We also wanted to thank the teachers and staff at Middleton for all of their work in packing up rooms and moving classrooms to the Ridges. Finally, to SSD for creating a plan to get the kids back in school as quickly as possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you. That concludes public comment for this evening. Typically, That's the end of our meeting. I would like, I'm kind of putting you on the spot, but I would like to ask our current superintendent if he could tell us what our actual policy is that's in place right now with regards to firearms.
Well, we do have a policy that prohibits all employees from having any weapons on campus. And so that there was a kind of a mistaken notion that employees could bring weapons with a concealed permit. They cannot. And Steve, is there any other employment? That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that at home for people who are listening and maybe under the misconception that our teachers or employees are allowed to carry with a concealed carry license. They are not at this time. So that's a side issue from what's being proposed here, but I just wanted to be clear about that for people who are listening at home. All right, the next meeting of the board will be held on February 21st. For this evening, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.